Also, the language that we use to ourselves is so important. How we talk to ourselves and how we talk to other people. Like, I'm very big on, how you communicate to the outside world. Like I tell actors, never use the word starving artist. Never use the word struggling actor in your vocabulary or your vernacular, so to speak, because that signifies that things are going to be tough. And also don't tell yourself, always tell yourself you're a professional work. When you have the training, and even if you've done community theater, that's still a job, that you're still a professional actor. And that's with anybody. You're a professional, you're a young professional, you're not aspiring to be anything, you are that. And that's the whole thing too, is getting that out of that word, those negative words out of our vocabulary, because words are incredibly powerful. Language is incredibly powerful.
Yeah. There's a tremendous amount to be said for the power of positive self-talk and the words you choose to talk about yourself. How you refer to a situation is sort of how you're going to view it. I think there's a lot of alignment there too with manifestation and manifesting the future that's going to come, forward with that. If you believe it's going to be hard, if you believe you're a struggling artist, you're going to struggle. If you believe that you are a successful artist, you believe that you are whatever it is, you're going to see it from that lens, and it's going to be a lot easier road for you. So I agree 100%. I think it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about balancing being, a talent agent versus the psychology part. How do those fit together? Because to me, I don't know a whole lot about the talent space, but to me, it seems like a sort of unique combination there. And I think you're able to probably better serve the people you work with for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it is extremely important, to balance both. Now, I don't necessarily, this talent, agency is my full-time love. So I don't really do much other stuff rather than just work with actors. But I do feel like I'm able to talk to actors, understand them a little bit more efficiently. Like some of the other agents I work with might get annoyed with certain actor behaviors or quirks. For me, that I actually embrace because I understand what's going on. I know what's going on. And I think sometimes it just helps me connect with the artist more efficiently. Like I said, I don't really do much except, maybe write and teach part-time. But I as far as the other business, because like I said, talent agent, part of it consumes most of not all of my day-to-day life. And I love what I do, but it's also, very, very time consuming.
How much of that do you think is the human component? And to clarify that, I mean, really understanding the people you work with at the human level and who they are. I think if you understand them and their core motivations, is it easier to find success for them?
It helps me connect when I know someone's core values and core meaning. It helps me. I think it's good to develop rapport, that way. So I really get to know what their value is, and then I'll understand why they, kind of like why they behave or why they're interacting in a certain way. And that will help me guide my direction to suit that. So I think that that's really important to have that understanding of human behavior and just why people react the way they do. Whereas, again, some of my colleagues might find certain works annoying or frustrating. And I think it's because they don't really understand also. So I think just having an understanding helps a great deal.
Agree. And what about the flip side of that? So for someone who's done the work themselves and really understands who they are, what motivates them, understands their own pain points, understands their own motivations, how much more successful do you think that person is for having done the work?
I think incredibly more successful, because then they start realizing any patterns that may be holding them back, any subconscious or dysfunctional patterns of relating to other people or even relating to themselves. I mean, it's even a core thing about relationships. Even if we go outside of this to know about relationships, a lot of people engage in dysfunctional patterns in relationships and not know why, or not have the insight to know what's going on. They just keep getting involved in dysfunctional relationship after another. And that doesn't have to be romantic. It could be familial. It could be, business. but they keep getting that circle, that hamster wheel circle, just dysfunctional relationship after dysfunctional relationship without the proper insight to know how are they contributing to that and, what's drawing them. And I think once person has an insight as to what's going on, they're able to pinpoint any dysfunctional patterns that are happening. And they're able to stop, work to stop that or any triggers, because most of us act, when we're triggered, whether even positive trigger or, negative trigger. If someone smiles at us, we smile back, the trigger. And once we understand what's happening or what's triggering us, we can then choose how to respond. And I think when you have that insight about yourself, you're more empowered to make more positive and proper decisions. And I think that's going to lead much more to success.
Yeah, I would strongly agree. So I have a couple additional questions I'd love to ask. Number one would be, if you had one bit of advice to give someone today to help them live a slightly better life, whether that be to inspire them, to motivate them, to help deal with fear of failure, fear of success, what would that one bit of advice be?
Remember why you're here. Why are you doing it? What's your purpose of doing this? And stay true to that. Whether for an actor, whether it's changing the world or inspiring other people through your art,